I always say I was initiated into this work through my own traumatic experiences. One way I learned how to soothe my trauma growing up was through binge eating. So I spent probably from the age of 8 until maybe 28 even, just binging whenever there'd be an unpleasant sensation. And it was the only form of agency I really had to help kind of quell the big activation that lived inside, 'cause I didn't know how to relate to that. I just knew how to squelch it. That led to chronic illness, autoimmune disease, gastrointestinal issues. I was overweight, I had high cholesterol, I had cystic acne all over my face, in addition to a lot of relational and historical childhood trauma. So my body was just so overwhelmed with sensation and pain, and I went into many years of suffering and self-hatred and suicidal ideation, and you name it, really at the edge of being able to handle the human experience. When I discovered a guitar, I started strumming it, and the vibration of the guitar hit all these parts of my body that had been violated. I experienced a lot of sexual violation growing up. So these places that were numb and unable to be perceived of by me were suddenly felt, and it felt good because the vibration of the guitar was soothing. And it woke something up in me. And I kind of instinctively started shifting how I was eating, started learning about food. I originally went to school for psychology. I dropped out because I didn't like the DSM, went back to studying nutrition and herbalism, and then worked as a nutritionist. And 10 years into doing that, I learned there was this intersection that's often unexplored between nutrition and trauma. And that trauma healing and trauma recovery and stress healing is so much more effective when you understand nutrition. So my work is kind of a modality of everything I learned 17, 18 years of my own healing experience of how to relate to your body through food, somatics, and such.
So what do you say to someone who just, when I'm stressed, I think cookies, chocolate,
That's right.
coffee, sometimes beer,
That's
you
right.
name it, like any pleasurable food, and sometimes salt,
Yeah.
it's so powerful. And how do I feel like I just give myself over to that. So
That's right.
How do you learn to relate to the food better? How do you do that?
That's a good question, because the practice that I teach is exactly what you just said, is relating to the food. So it's not going into food dominance where you're controlling or you're judging or you're saying this is good, this is bad, this is healthy, this is unhealthy, which could be true. It doesn't help us change how we show up to the eating habits when we judge them or judge ourselves. We just have shame or extreme control and confinement. So there's this other way that's about what's my relationship to the food? What inside of me drives me to the chips, to the alcohol, to the coffee? When we get curious about what drives the impulse, then we gain this, again, unexplored nutritional territory, like parts work. What parts of me are alive in pain from historical experiences, and they go to this food for a certain kind of soothing. They go to this food to be quieted down or elevated. And there's really these different categories I put food into. One category are stimulants, foods that excite the body. Others are depressants, foods that soothe and quiet the body. And then there's the balancers. These are the ones that just nourish your body to feel what you're feeling so you can metabolize it.
From myself to yourself, thank you for joining me on this journey. And thank you, Luis. Please join me next time to find out what my addiction to chocolate means and how I can be more healthy about it.